Hello, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of the Tracy Show. As you can see by the title, what we're going to be talking about. Before I get started, reminder if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my page, or you can subscribe by following the link there, or if you're not subscribed, you'll see a red box that says subscribe. It's usually it's either on the left or the right, um, one or the other. I can't remember which one, but hit subscribe. Still trying to reach 300. I'm at 252 right now, so 48 more. Subscribing literally costs nothing. Um, Easy, free, doesn't cost you anything. Remember that our trivia night is coming up. It's August the 24th. I have 8 p.m., but I believe it's going to be at 5 p.m., so I'll change the time next week. I am holding a fundraiser because it is my goal to raise $1,000 for this channel so that I can get my website back, so I can get some new lighting. It'll be 80s trivia night, so we'll talk about 80s music, 80s politics, 80s news. It's going to be a fun time. I am trying to get the link now because I realized I forgot the link. And let me get that real quick. Sorry about that. I thought I put that link in there, but I did not. I'll have that here in just a moment and we'll get started. Like I said, I'm trying to raise funds to get new lighting, to get better equipment. I'm also thinking about doing an official introduction to the show, although that's going to cost a lot. That's like down the road. But all the money that's given, it will not go to me. Definitely not go to me. It will go to buying better equipment, lights. I'm also wanting to buy a camera, and I'm still trying to find this link in the background. Sorry, guys. So just support the fundraiser as much as you can. There's going to be a link. If you're on my email list, you got a link to donate if you can't attend or you can't afford $25. Here is the link. Here's the link right there. I would normally say you can find it on my webpage, but no, you can't because my webpage does not exist. It's in limbo. Like I said, we're trying to get that back and get it all straightened out. Well, let's get started. Um, if you've been not watching television the last 24 hours, you know there was an assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. I'm going to be sharing a lot of clips. So again, these clips are for educational and commentary purposes. No intent to copyright work or anything like that. I got something in my shoe. I'm sorry. This is just really getting on my nerves. Let me get this thing off. I'm sorry. It's going to just agitate me until I get this done. Take this off. I'm going to talk about the reason I want to do this. I want to take this from two standpoints. One, some of y'all people on Facebook is real trifling. Yeah, real trifling. Talking about too bad he missed. You are a sick person to wish death on anybody. I don't care. I would say the same thing if someone did this to Biden. Look, I'm here to say I'm not a fan of Trump. Never have been. Didn't vote for him. Don't support him. But to cheer a shooter, it's like something wrong with your brain. Then I'm going to kind of shift to taking the perspective of this was all a setup, because I've heard that. And I'm going to talk about if it was not a setup and how this could affect the election, which is, yes, months and months away. So we're going to get started with our clips, and hopefully I get this right. And this clip I'll be showing is from CNN.
6:04 Saturday evening. Before an adoring and roaring crowd, former President Donald Trump steps to the podium. 7.5 minutes later,
take a look at what happened.
Pandemonium. Amid a series of sharp pops, Trump touches his ear and ducks. 3 seconds later, Secret Service agents are swarming in to shield him, and security snipers have opened fire on the would-be assassin.
It seemed initially like firecrackers went off.
As chaos erupts among the attendees, one rally-goer sees another man has been killed despite the rescue efforts of bystanders.
They jumped the bleachers and started clearing the bleachers. And then I helped carry the body of the man down out of the bleachers, and they took him to a tent behind the bleachers. We put a towel over his head, but he's deceased.
It all happens fast. 30 seconds after the first shots ring out, the podium's microphone catches Secret Service agents coordinating Trump's evacuation from that stage.
Hold, when you're ready, on you.
Then, just over a minute after the violence started, the all clear.
Shooters down.
At 6:12 p.m., the agents rise with Trump and try to usher him rapidly away. But, he says,
Let me get my shoes.
Shortly after, he's on his way to a safe vehicle. But he tells agents to pause again. He turns to the rattled crowd in what will become an historic photo. Soon, pictures start surfacing of what appears to be a dead gunman on a roof not more than 500 feet away from Trump's right side as he stood on the stage, and the much more methodical police work begins.
We need the public's help. Anyone who was on scene, who saw anything.
As the FBI and partners start piecing together who the assailant is, how he got there, whether he acted alone, and ultimately why he fired. An investigation that certainly will go on for months into a violent explosion of seconds.
So that's what happened in a nutshell. Like I said, there's a lot to unpack. When I first heard about this, I was like, well, don't they do weapons checks? I don't know what made me think of that dumb question, because rifles or semi-automatic rifles are able to shoot from literally hundreds of feet away. So I'm like, Tracy, why did you ask that question? That wasn't really a smart question, because everybody that goes into the rally, which I'm thinking, they have to be subject to some kind of weapons check, right? And this was a way. Now, what I don't know is what the man's name is. So I'm trying to find that out while I'm talking to y'all. But this is scary. Of course, oh gosh, I hate when I can't bring up the. Okay, so we finally got a name, and I'll bring up this guy, and I'll share. Like I said, this is gonna be a screen sharing type of broadcast. So just keep that in mind. And I'm trying to get back to here so I can tell you all what's going on, but my screen is gone. Oh no, my screen. Oh my goodness, where's my screen? My screen is gone. Okay, I don't know what went wrong with my screen there. Sorry, everybody. I was trying to share the next one. Um, so now we do have a name of the shooter. This is just a text article from CBS News. So let me share that real quick and I'll read it for you. Okay. So there is a video. Okay, so we may be playing. Let's
It
see.
is 8 a.m. Eastern time on this Sunday, and we continue to follow breaking news. Multiple U.S. law enforcement agencies this morning are investigating the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump at a rally in Pennsylvania yesterday.
Take a look at what happened.
Blair, can I get... That is the moment the shooting happened, just after 6 p.m. Eastern Saturday. The presumptive Republican nominee had walked on stage, and about 6 minutes later, shots were heard.
Okay, we know
the
this
shooting
part.
left the Republican candidate bleeding from the ear. Trump dropped to the ground for cover and was immediately sworn by...
So we're going to skip that because they're going over the same thing. So we're going to just read the article. So the gunman who fired shots at former President Donald Trump in an assassination attempt at the campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, Saturday night has been identified as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks. He was killed by a Secret Service sniper, officials say. Once audience members at the rally, Pennsylvania firefighter Corey, oh boy, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, Compentor was killed in the shooting and two other men were critically injured. In the statement, the FBI said the FBI has identified Thomas Matthew Crooks, 20, of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, as the subject involved in the assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump on July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania. There remains an active, ongoing investigation, and anyone with information that may assist with the investigation is encouraged to submit photos or videos online at fbi.gov/Butler or call 1-800-CALL-FBI. Federal investigators said the gunman, who was not carrying identification, so they analyzed his DNA to provide a biometric confirmation of his identity. Crooks was from Bethel, Pennsylvania, a Pittsburgh suburb about an hour south of Butler. The town in Allegheny County is home to more than about 30,000 people and has one high school with about 1,300 students. Bethel School District confirmed to CBS Pittsburgh station KDKA that Crooks was a 2020 graduate of Bethel Park High School. School officials pledged to work with law enforcement investigating the shooting and offer condolences to those affected by the attack. And there is former Mr. Crooks. Um, Former classmate Jason Myers, a member of the school's varsity rifle team, told CBS that Crooks had tried out for the team freshman year but did not make the junior varsity roster and did not return to try out for the team in subsequent years. He called Crooks a nice kid who never talked poorly of anyone. I never thought of him as capable of anything like this. I always say that. Fellow classmate Summer Barkley told CBS Pittsburgh reporter Megan Skiller that although Crooks wasn't popular, he still had a group of friends and was a good student, loved by teachers. She said she didn't see any red flags that would lead her to believe that he would do something like this. Another classmate, and I'm not going to read this whole article, but I want to get these last two kind of paragraphs. Another classmate, Jason Kohler, had somewhat different view, telling Skiller that Crooks was a loner who was bullied relentlessly for his appearance and wore camo hunting outfits in class. He said that Crooks would often sit in the cafeteria alone before class. He also said Crooks was very COVID conscious and wore several surgical masks along with what they required. Crooks graduated Community College of Allegheny County in May 2024 with an Associate of Science degree in Engineering Science. A spokesman for the college confirmed to CBS. Crooks also worked at the Bethel Park Skilled Nursing Rehabilitation Center as a dietary aide, according to facility administrators. So, no motive yet. No motive yet. No motive yet. We don't know. And like I said, I just want to kind of take this from two perspectives. And please comment if you're watching. Comment because it looks like we our normal audience is not here. So if you could comment, that would be great. So I want to take this from two perspectives. So the first one, and I want to talk about again the people that said they missed. Well, three perspectives. So again, first I want to talk about the people that said, "Oh, too bad he missed." What's wrong with you? What in the entire world is wrong with you that you would wish death on anybody? I don't care whether it's Trump, Biden, somebody, I don't care who it is. For you to sit here and post something like that on Facebook, and for some reason Facebook keeps it up, you're disgusting. You are literally disgusting to sit there and say, "Oh, well, too bad they missed." What if somebody said that about you? What if somebody said, "You know what? Too bad they missed." I mean, I keep saying you've got to be sick, but you've got to be sick. You've got to be. I mean, this is where I kind of agree with what Tim Black was saying last night. It's like they demonized the media, Trump so bad to kind of spew this hatred, but for you to return that and say, "Yeah, he missed." There's a family. There's the Crooks family that lost their son, nephew, cousin. Then there's other people that got injured, and they all have to deal with that. And to say that their injuries, minus Crooks, because you're gonna get what you're gonna get. It's we live in a sad country. We really live in a sad country. Instead of drawing attention to gun violence and how easy it is to get a gun, you've decided, you know what? I'm just going to type, "Too bad he missed." What a great person you are. Not. You're the type of person that deserves to be avoided. To have that kind of sickness in you where you're saying, "Yeah, they missed though, that's just too bad." I don't dislike anybody that much. There's nobody that I'm sitting here like, "Man, too bad they missed." I mean, when I heard about it, I was like deeply saddened because this was an open wide event. If you see how close that bullet, and it did sound like firecrackers. To me, that sounded a lot like firecrackers. To me, it didn't sound like gunshots. It sounded like firecrackers. But anyway, to see how close that person was to getting away with the assassination of Trump, that was very close. I mean, that bullet grazed his ear. If it had been any closer, I don't know what would have happened. I I, I don't know, right? Because it's just it's really sad that this is what America has turned into. That you would hate a politician that much. I mean, there's politicians that I disagree with their platforms. I wouldn't vote for them if you hunt me down, put handcuffs on me, put a gun to my head. But I'm not gonna wish them dead. There's just nobody that I have that kind of feeling for, and to express it. Like some things you should just keep to yourself. Go to therapy and figure out, why do I feel this way about somebody that I don't know, who doesn't know me. You're like, oh well, all the evil he's done. He's not the only president that has done evil. We had another president named George W. Bush that killed like 1 million people in an unjust, unwarranted war. We've had presidents do some terrible things, terrible, evil things, but nobody hates them like they hate Trump, which I partly do think is sort of the media's fault because they make money off of Trump. Um, th- th- it just amazes me because if the shoe were on the other foot and Republicans were cracking jokes about Biden, I would say literally the exact same thing. Something's wrong with you when you start wishing death on people. Something's wrong in your heart. Something's wrong in your soul. For a person that you only see, what, 6 minutes a day, maybe? Um, like what? I don't know what it is, but I think to all those people that wrote those things on Facebook, you need to look inward and figure out what that is. It's just not right. It just doesn't sit with me that I live in a country where people can type that, still be allowed on a platform, not be kicked off. And I know you're going to say, well, free speech, free speech. Yes, I believe in free speech, but not when it comes to in terms of harming someone's, um, I was going to say sanity, existence, right? I don't believe you should be able to say, I'm going to kill him. I hope he dies. I think free speech has its limits. Um, but again, that's just me. And this is not going to be a long program, by the way. I'm saying that now. I'm thinking I'm going to stop at 45 minutes and let's just go from there. But who knows? I may talk, another 20 minutes about the next 2 points I'm making. Um, I want to talk about something else. Um, in terms of the shooting. I'm trying to find Biden's response to and I want to play that because actually he says this better than I can. Um, and then I want to talk about the Republican response because I'm like, y'all make me sick. But see, I didn't like wish death on them. So let's play this. Let's play this. Let's play this. See, now I know to go right there. Told you this is gonna be a clip heavy broadcast right here. I actually think Biden says this a lot better than when I'm saying it, which is rare that I give Biden credit for anything, but I do.
Last night, I spoke with Donald Trump. I'm sincerely grateful that he's doing well and recovering. And we had a short but good conversation. Jill and I are keeping him and his family in our prayers. We also extend our deepest condolences to the family of the victim who was killed. He was a father. He was protecting his family from the bullets that were being fired. And he lost his life. God love him. We're also praying for the full recovery of those who were injured. And we're grateful to the Secret Service agents and other law enforcement agencies and individuals
Oh, this is
who
by
risked their
NBC,
lives,
by the way.
literally for our nation. As I said last night, there is no place in America for this kind of violence or any violence for that matter. An assassination attempt is contrary to everything we stand for as a nation, everything. It's not who we are as a nation. It's not America. And we cannot allow this to happen. Unity is the most elusive goal of all, but nothing is important than that right now, unity. We'll debate and we'll disagree. That's not going to change, but we're going to not lose sight, in fact, who we are as Americans. Look, Vice President Harris and I were just briefed in the Situation Room by my Homeland Security team, including the Director of the FBI, the Secretary of Homeland Security, the Attorney General, the Director of the Secret Service, my Homeland Security Advisor, the National Security Advisor.
I think he meant Homeland.
And we're going to continue to be briefed. The FBI is leading this investigation, which is still in its early stages. We don't yet have any information about the motive of the shooter. We know who he is. I urge everyone, please, don't make assumptions about his motives or his affiliations. Let the FBI do their job and their partner agencies do their job. I'm instructed that this investigation be thorough and swift, and the investigators will have every resource they need to get this done. Look, as this investigation continues, here's what we're going to do. First, Mr. Trump, as a former president and nominee of the Republican Party, already receives a heightened level of security. And I've been consistent in my direction to the Secret Service to provide him with every resource, capability, and protective measure necessary to ensure his continued safety. Second, I've directed the head of the Secret Service to review all security measures for the Republican National Convention, which is scheduled to start tomorrow. And third, I've directed an independent review of the national security at yesterday's rally to assess exactly what happened. And we'll share the results of that independent review with the American people as well. And finally, I'll be speaking more about this tonight at greater length from the Oval Office. We must unite as one nation. We must unite as one nation to demonstrate who we are. And so may God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you very much.
One of the rare times that Biden has said something and I actually understood him. He clearly said that way better than I could. Way better than I could. I'm trying to find another clip and I'll respond to both of them. Because the Republican Party, believe it or not, had a response. And I thought, you know what? To Trump. And I can't spell. I should, I didn't think I was going to show this, but I kind of see where they're going with this. They're actually attempting to blame, and this is another clip from NBC News. They're actually attempting to blame Democrats, so you'll see what I'm talking about. And this is, again, is from NBC News.
from the right. What is the reasoning that's being used, and then how are Democrats responding to that?
Good morning, Kate. Yeah, that's right. Several Republican members of Congress have directly blamed President Biden, the Democrats, and the media for the assassination attempt. They claim it was the result of overheated rhetoric about Trump and part of a campaign to jeopardize his safety. So, for example, Georgia Republican Congressman Mike Collins posted, quote, "Joe Biden sent the orders." And Trump campaign surrogate Nick Adams posted on social media, quote, "Joe Biden's rhetoric is directly responsible. There can be no discussion. This is a fact." And then right-wing journalist Sean Davis wrote that, quote, "Deranged Democrats knew Biden couldn't win, so they incited one of their toadies to try and take out his opponent." Now, it's obviously true that Democrats have called Donald Trump an authoritarian and a threat to democracy, but they've never hinted that violence was an appropriate response to that. And of course, after this shooting, Democrats, including President Biden, have condemned it in the strongest possible terms, and they've called this political violence a threat to democracy. So that's where we stand on that. And experts are worried that this kind of rhetoric, increases the risk of more violence.
Well, that's just what I was going to ask. Are you hearing from your sources, from people who monitor this kind of chatter online, that there are concerns about other political violence?
Yeah, unfortunately, there are those concerns. Extremists have been seizing on this incident. So Telegram channels for branches of the Proud Boys militia group have been calling for civil war and violence. According to Advanced Democracy, that's an NGO that tracks this stuff, a user on one forum wrote that the Democratic National Committee, rhinos, and the feds, quote, should all be hung in the streets of D.C. And users on a pro-Trump platform, patriots.win, are calling for violence and civil war. One user wrote, "War now. They don't want to live and let live." So some really dangerous rhetoric coursing around out there, Kate.
And then at the same time, you've got political leaders on both sides of the aisle. I think of the Speaker of the House this morning saying, we need to tamp down the rhetoric. We need to take down the temperature. Are you seeing any evidence of that?
Well, unfortunately, yes. A lot of mainstream politicians often speak that way, and that's great. But then you have these other kind of flame-throwing politicians, some of the quotes I read earlier, who are not doing that at all. And so as long as there is some group of people who are throwing gasoline on the fire, there are sort of a group of deranged individuals out there that are listening to it, paying close attention, and think they are in essentially a civil war, Kate.
Okay, so here is my problem with the Republican response. Reporter pretty much said what I'm thinking. This was not, unless somebody proves it, I'll say it that way, unless you can prove with evidence that this was Biden ordered. Well, let me backtrack. So first they say Biden isn't coherent, he isn't capable, he doesn't have the capacity. But then they turn right around and say, oh, well, he's responsible. Can you really have it both ways? I mean, are you seriously sitting here telling me that like he's incapable, but he ordered the assassination of Trump because he's losing in the polls to him? That seems to be a silly reason to me to hire somebody to do an assassination attempt. I mean, I don't expect anything better from the Republicans. I truly don't. But again, sometimes people need to keep their thoughts to themselves and just stop it with this. Like I said, you need evidence. And the one legislator said there is no question. Like, I could say you did it. I mean, you unless you have evidence, substantiated evidence, not evidence that you got off of QAnon or Mothers with Liberty or Trump is the greatest.org. I'm talking about evidence, substantial evidence, right? Making those kinds of accusations, they actually incite some of these Trump worshiper groups, right, to try to do something. This is not what we needed. This isn't. Now I'm going to use the Democrats' argument. This isn't the time for. I mean, there's no time for violence, never. But when it happens, you can't blame your opponent, right? What does Biden gain? Because it's really sad that they made that type of argument. And you notice they're keeping real quiet about gun control. Haven't said anything about it. They need to pretend that it wasn't Trump's ear, but it was a third grader. That might help them. No, it won't, because heck, Sandy Hook happened and they blocked legislation for gun control. Maybe if we had more gun control, this wouldn't have happened. A 20-year-old probably bought a gun. Well, most likely bought a gun. No background checks, I'm assuming. No type of anything, and just went off. But lastly, I want to talk about two perspectives because I keep saying I'm going to get to this. So I first want to talk about when people first heard this. There's a big contingency that Trump faked this, that he set this up to secure his nomination and his ascension to the White House again. To that, I'm going to say that doesn't make a lot of sense to me because Trump is leading like in every single poll. Would he really put his life in danger to do this? Would he really say, you know what I want you to do? I'm going to hire you. Now, you're going to die, right? They're going to kill you. But hey, you're doing this for me. You're doing this for America. Did he direct somebody in his staff to do this and they did it? I'm pretty sure if this is fake, he's not calling people to say, hey, what I want you to do is to shoot me in the ear and let that braze me. I do not believe that this was fake. I believe this was an actual assassination attempt on a former president. And I know some of you hate Trump and you don't like him, but I have to call it the way I see it. If you saw the look on his face before he did the fist pump, who gets shot and does a fist pump? I don't know, but hey, do you? But if you saw the look on his face, that was something he wasn't expecting. That was not something that he was expecting. So all the people that are saying, oh, it was fake and he just did this, you got to explain to me why. He's already leading in the polls. It doesn't, you don't need, the only thing he needs to do is just watch Biden implode. He doesn't have to do anything, right? Just wait until November or September when he gets sentenced. And it doesn't make sense to me that he would fake it, unless what you're actually saying is that his staff was involved in the faking and they didn't tell him. Because again, that look on his face was like terror. He looked literally scared. I mean, literally like, and I would too. You shoot me in my ear near my brain, yeah, I'm gonna be looking real scared. I'm gonna be looking real scared. Of course, he's okay now. You know, made a speedy recovery. That's great. But it doesn't make sense to me that he would fake this. And again, I'm going to say that look on his face was just like, that's literally what I'm basing it off of. I'm basing it off of that because I don't see the correlation between him wanting to win the election. He's already leading in the polls. He's already, in some instances, outraised Biden. He's already getting free exposure. I don't get why put your life in danger just to win the presidency. It's not that deep. Maybe it is for him, but you're going to have to come up with a little bit more evidence that he faked it because that doesn't make sense to me, right? It doesn't make sense to me that he would fake this. It just doesn't. Another contention says that, well, what I'm saying, that this is real. And there's several things. I mean, we've had, let's see, the last time a former presidential candidate was assassinated, I believe it was Robert F. I believe, if I'm right. Because we had Reagan, but Reagan was before there was an attempted assassination, but he was president So the last time we've had a non-president or a presidential candidate that had an assassination was Robert Kennedy, and he was killed by I want to say Sirhan so bad, but I know that's not right. Um, so we haven't had this happen, right? We haven't had this where we're just like, what do we do? What type of security measures did the Secret Service take? Were they looking on the rooftops, having helicopters fly over? Were they? I mean, they got him out of there. I still don't know why he had to get his shoe because it's just a shoe. But again, never question the victim. You don't question the victim unless there's evidence. I still don't understand it, but it's hard to say it's fake, right? Because again, you think Secret Service, Homeland Security, they're going to take anytime a president or a presidential candidate, well, minus RFK, Jill Stein, Cornel West, they don't get security protection, right? They're just out on their own. But I'm talking about two parties, Republicans, Democrats. You would think they would survey the area, fly helicopters over to like do air security or use drones or whatever. I don't know whether that was used. That'll come out in the investigation. And then you have to start asking, like, how long is the investigation going to take? I mean, that picture of Trump pumping his fist, it's a campaign ad. It's literally a campaign ad. I don't know if I agree with, oh, he's locked the presidency in. I'm not going to go that far. But America sympathizes with a victim. And it's going to be hard. It would be incredibly stupid for his campaign not to use that. I mean, I could just see the ads. You know, he was shot, and he stood up for America, and the Democrats attacked him, and blah, 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 blah. But, you know, there has to be, and I don't want to say an investigation of Secret Service, Homeland Security, but something failed. Something failed. Because you should be, and again, the investigation just started. So again, I could just be spouting off nothing. But hopefully the investigation will find out exactly what happened. Like, why weren't securities taken? Why was a man on a rooftop of a building that far away? Now, he's not getting in because, again, they check bags and all those things when you go in. But this man, from my understanding, was nowhere near Trump. He was hundreds of feet away. Did they have planes? Did they have drones? Did they have security, like, spread out? Again, something went wrong. There should be no bullet that's getting that close. That bullet, if he had turned a certain way, it would have been over. Over. That was really close, right? And we know his press conference, whenever he has one, I think he speaks Thursday at the Republican convention, but he may say something tomorrow. Just let people know he's okay. Blah 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 blah. I have a whole lot more questions. Right? What was the motive of the shooter? You always wonder. How did he obtain that weapon that he used? Was it obtained legally, illegally? And that is important. I know Republicans are going to hate this, but again, this is why we need gun control laws, right? This is exactly the reason why we need better gun control laws in this country. Because apparently, you know, according to at least one person, one former classmate, he wasn't all the way there. and no background checks, no type of thing. You don't know whether he bought it at a gun show, which to my understanding, they don't even do background checks. You don't know whether he bought it off of somebody from the streets. What does his family have to say? Are they going to speak? Are they going to just keep low so that they don't end up getting hurt? What type of protections is in it for them, right? Because what could happen is they find out that Susan Crockett, I don't know what his mother's name is, and Mr. Crockett, his father is, and decide, you know what, we're going to get him. So what type of uh, protocol is going to be to protect them? Is Trump going to say, hey, let the law take it? Or is he going to tell his supporters, hey, go find them? Right? Is he going to exercise restraint? No. I can tell you that right now, no. He may not outright call for retribution, but he's going to highly suggest it. That much I can probably guarantee, right? I can almost guarantee he's going to ask for some sort of retribution. He's not letting this one slide by. I mean, if I'm shot in the ear, I'm probably not letting it slide either, although I'm saying, hey, don't attack the family. The shooter is dead. That's enough. But again, if it turns out that the shooter had, some type of behavioral issue going on, and or he was able to obtain a gun that easy, I think it's going to be highly hypocritical for the Republican Party to say, oh, no, we don't need gun control laws, because we're all going to point back to this, right? We're going to point to this and say, probably not. The other question I have is, what's going to happen to his supporters? And I think I've already asked some of those questions. And I'm not talking about the person that votes Republican because they don't like Joe Biden. I'm talking about those staunch Trump supporters that will, if he says go, they're going. If he says jump, they're going to ask how high. What is their response going to be? Will they exercise restraint? Will they keep themselves under control until the investigation is finished? Will they have a response that is even more violent? Again, there's a possibility, that they could just say, hey, we know where that family lives, let's get them. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I do not wish that to happen, but you have to wonder, what is their response going to be? Tomorrow's going to be an interesting day because the Republican convention actually starts tomorrow. They're going to address this. They'll probably do it right at the top. Somebody's going to probably say something. It depends on I don't know who's on the schedule tomorrow. Let's see. Let me see if I can find this out. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to see who's scheduled to speak tomorrow. That's not. I'm trying to find it, y'all. Because I'm trying to identify who. Okay, so I'll show y'all this. I said I was going to do a lot of screen sharing. And of course I did get it wrong. Boo. No, I won't. I'll just read it to you. So on the list for tomorrow is names like Tucker Carlson, Vivek Ramaswamy, House Speaker Mike Johnson are on the list, which includes a number of Republican senators, Senate candidates, and representatives. Trump's wife nor daughter are on the schedule to speak, blah, 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 blah. So it's going to be interesting to see how they respond to it, and yeah, I went 5 minutes over. Um, but like I said, I will be covering the RNC convention. It starts at 8:30. I have 8:45 on my schedule, but I'll probably get in here closer to like 8:25, 8:30, just to give myself time. So gonna try, even though I said 45 minutes. Of course, I'm over that, but just keep just keep your ears and eyes open. When I said that in 2023 that 2024 was going to be one for the history books, this is not what I meant. We don't need assassination attempts. This is not what we needed. This is terrible. I know some people are going to say, no, 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 no. We got to do better than that. Just because we disagree politically does not mean we use violence to answer those type of things. Like I said, I'll be keeping an eye on this throughout the week. I'll be with you every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Friday, I'll take a break and then I'll jump on my Saturday show. Remember to like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, support me on Patreon. And remember to sign up for the fundraiser. I'm hoping to have my free page done. So at least by the time that tomorrow comes, I'll have a free page of mine that you can go to until I get my actual website back. But again, we definitely need financial support because that website is at least $200 to secure. And if I had $200, I wouldn't be asking for it. Using StreamYard costs money, using Zoom costs money. All of those things go into costs, including the lights, trying to get a background. But again, I thank you for watching. I see we got some people in the audience that didn't comment. That's okay. I want to, again, thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Somewhere between 8:15 and 8:30, probably more leaning towards 8:30. The show shouldn't be more than, I'm not planning on staying more than 30 minutes unless it's just a laugh, 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 laugh fest. But I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.